Hello everyone, this is Gracie here. In this video, we will be discussing about the problem 2.12. So component XP is made entirely in cost center 55. Material cost is 6 paise per component and each component takes 10 minutes to produce. The machine operator is paid 72 paise per hour and the machine our rate is rupees 1.50, that is 1 rupee 50 paise. The setting up of the machine to produce component XP takes 2 hours 20 minutes. On the basis of this information, prepare a comparative cost sheet showing the production and setting up cost, both in total and per component, assuming a batch of 10 components, B 100 components, and C 1000 components is produced. So this is your cost sheet which is to be prepared, and the figures how did you get for this calculation will be explained by a working note. So we will finish our working note and come and arrange your figures in your cost sheet. So as per the question here, component XP is made entirely in cost center 55. So the job number is 55. Material cost is 6 paise. So this is your direct material is 6 paise per component. So one component it is 6 paise. And each component takes 10 minutes. So to produce one component it takes 10 minutes. The machine operator is paid 72 paise per hour. So for 1 hour, the machine operator or the labor charges will be 72 paise for 1 hour. And the machine hour rate, so other overheads in the machine which is incurred. So other expenses where the laborers are paid. So machine operator is paid 72 paise per hour, the operator is paid, and this is the other expense for the other expenses. So machine hour rate is rupees 1.50. So here the other overheads can be why is this machine hour rate is given here is, so this is the rate for which the machine has been governed over. For example, a machine is running. When its machine is running, there are employees who work for the machine, oiling of the machine, cleaning of the machine. So the many expenses where it is to be maintained from the side of machines. So the machine hour rate is given for the other overheads apart from these operators charges. Might be oil charges for the machine. So based on our machine employees or cleaning of the machine or the electricity bill for that machine, how many hours it is run, so that expenses will come under the machine hour rate. So based on the hour, the other expenses is rupees 1.50. So then the setting up of the machine to produce component XP takes 2 hours 20 minutes. Yes, they've stated to set up this machine. Setting up is nothing but to start up or to arrange or to just bring the machine and to bring the machine and to start up or to fix out the machine for the production to start up. So that is known as setting up or setting up charges. So setting up a machine, to set up a machine to produce component XP, it takes 2 hours 20 minutes. So the time is 2 hours 20 minutes. Here is the calculation where it begins with. So as everything is based on per hour, you need to calculate, multiply with hours. Here they have given 2 hours 20 minutes. So here the conversion starts. 2 hours and 20 minutes. How are you going to use this 20 minutes for deciding the price? Then on the basis of the information, these are the information. On this you need to prepare if the job performs by producing 10 components, what will be the rate? If it produces 100 components, what is the rate? If it produces 1000 components, what is the rate? So this is the cost sheet. So first, comparative cost sheet, solution, component XP. So the component name is XP. So batch size in components. So how many batches are there? 10, 100, 1000. So this is the batch size. So first is setting up cost. So here first the machine will be set up. So that is your initial stage of your production. So while setting up the cost, you will have labor charges. So just machine can't place by itself. So there are laborers who help in setting up the cost. So labor charges are to be paid. Then you will have other expenses apart from setting up, cleaning of the machine, arranging them in a right way, electricity charges, space, rent paid for that building for placing the machine. So all the other expenses comes under the overhead expenses. Other overheads, these overheads can be any expenses which is related to the machine. So now labor rate is given in the question, which is they've given labor rate in the question. The machine operator is paid 72 paise per hour and the machine hour rate is rupees 1.50, and the setting up the machine to produce component XP takes 2 hours 20 minutes. So now setting up cost, as it is the first expenses which is incurred for the production step, we will be taking setting up cost. So labor 2 hours 20 minutes, as it takes 2 hours 20 minutes for setting up, and they have given labor charges. The machine operator is nothing but the laborer here. He is receiving 72 paise for 1 hour. Here they have given 2 hours 20 minutes. So this is in hours and this is in minutes. You can't multiply 72 paise directly with these figures because it is 72 paise per hour. So you need to convert these figures and then multiply with 72 in order to get this amount. So now let us get into your working note for the first calculation. So this is your working note. Machine operator is paid 0.72 paise, that is 72 paise per hour. Machine hour rate is rupees 1.50 per hour. Setting up cost of the machine, it takes 2 hours 20 minutes. Now calculation of setting up cost. For 1 hour it is the machine operator receives 0.72 paise, that is 72 paise, and rupees 1.50 per hour for other overhead expenses. So now working hour is 2 hours 20 minutes. For 2 hours you will multiply. For 2 hours it is, that is for 60 minutes it will take 72 paise. That is for 2 hours you can directly multiply 72 paise because the 72 paise is for 1 hour. Then for 2 hours you can find out. But for 20 minutes you need to know what is the amount. So how are you going to calculate? That is calculation of rate for 20 minutes. For 1 hour is equal to how much? 60 minutes. 1 hour has 60 minutes. So 1 hour or 60 minutes, how much is the operator paying? For 1 hour he is being paid 72 paise. That is for 1 hour or 60 minutes he is paying 72 paise. Then for 20 minutes how much is it? So you will cross multiply. So 20 into 0.72 divided by 60 minutes will give you 0.24. So you will be getting, for 20 minutes the operator will be getting 0.24 paise. So 2 hours into 0.72, that is for 1 hour it is 0.72. Then for 2 hours how much is it? You will multiply 2 hours into 0.72, you will be getting 1.44. Then plus for 20 minutes what is the rate? 0.24. So 1.44 plus 0.24 you will be getting 1.68. that is what you have taken here. 1.68 is your labor hours. Next is your overhead. 2 hours 20 minutes at rupees 1.550 per machine hour. So now we will be calculating it for 1 hour they have stated 1.50. Then for 20 minutes how much is it? You will again follow the same method. The working note for this overhead will be calculated as follows. So this is a working note. So machine hour at rupees 1.5 per hour. So the same calculation or the same method which is used for the labor charges. So 1 hour or 60 minutes is 1.50 per hour. So machine hour, the rate is fixed at, for 1 hour it is 1.50, okay, which is nothing but 60 minutes. As this is in minutes, we are converting 1 hour into minutes. That is why we are converting it into minutes. So for 60 minutes it is 1.50. Then for 20 minutes how much is it? Cross multiplication. 20 into 1.50 divided by 60 will give you 0.5. So for 1 hour it is 1.50. The working hours of that for setting up is 2 hours 20 minutes. So for 1 hour if it is 1.50, so for 2 hours it is 2 hours into 1.50, which will give you 3 with 3 hours, and for that 20 minutes how much is the rate? 0.5. So 3 plus 0.5 for 20 minutes will give you 3.5. So that is what is shown in the calculation here. So overhead for 2 hours 20 minutes at rupees 1.50 per machine hour is 3.50. So which will give you for 10 components, if you add 1.68 and 3.50, you will be getting 5.18. 5.18 is fixed for all the components. So the machine or the setting up cost is always fixed. Once you set up the machine, how many ever units or components you produce, the setting up cost is fixed, because initially the organization sets up the machine. So machine has been set up, that is your initial cost which incurs to set up or to arrange the machine in the workshop. Once it is arranged, the other expenses will be continued. Setting up cost is an initial expense which is set up once and which is always fixed irrespective of how many ever components you produce. So that is why your setting up cost is same and fixed for how many ever components you produce. So the setting up cost is 5.18 for 100 components as well, and for 100 as well as for 1000 components. Next we have your production cost. So in this cost sheet you will not have prime cost, and you will not have you will not have the cost sheet method, because this is under absorption costing method, where it will not give an arrangement of your prime, factory and other expenses. It is a mixture of all the expenses. So first, this is just a batch wise comparative cost sheet. First you set up the machine, that is why you have taken up setting up cost. Next is your production cost, the expenses which is incurred in your factory. So as per the expenses which is incurred in your factory, next is they have given material cost is 6 paise per component, and each component takes 10 minutes to produce. You have material cost where you use it for production. Next, after that you have your overhead. Machine hour rate is 1.50 per hour. Then you have machine operator is paid 72 paise. For setting up, you have taken machine operator labor charges you have given, and other expenses which is incurred also you have given. Now in factory expenses, to produce the materials or the components, you need to pay for the laborers as well as you need to meet the other expenses. So what is that labor charges and what is the other expenses will depend on the number of components. That is what you're going to calculate now. Based on the components, what is your other production expenses? So here your production cost is material cost at 6 paise per component, which is mentioned in the question, which is material cost is 6 paise per component, and each component takes 10 minutes to produce. So here for one component it is for 6 paise. So how many components are produced? 10, 100, 1000. So 6 into 10 will give you 0.6 paise, which is nothing but 0.06 paise. So 0.06 paise into 10 will give you 0.60. Next, 0.06 paise into 100 will give you 6 rupees. 0.06 paise into 1000 will give you 60 rupees. So this is your material cost which you have multiplied based on the components. Next we will get into your labor or wages at rupees 72 paise per hour. So for how many components? For 3 components, that is for component 10 components, 100 components and 1000 components. So let us get into the question now. What is your question stating is, the machine operator is paid 72 paise per hour and machine hour rate is 1.50. Then they have stated each component takes 10 minutes to produce. So now the work of this starts here, because there are 3 division components and you need to find out what is your production expenses. So what is the labor charges you're giving for this 10, 100 and 1000. So to produce one component, they are telling you that you are paying it takes 10 minutes to produce one component. So there are 10 components here. So how long will it take, or how much does it take, how many minutes does it take to produce so many components? So let us get into the working note. So this is your working note. Each component takes 10 minutes to produce. As per the question, there are 3 batches. 10 components, 100 components, 1000 components. Wages calculation for each component. One component takes 10 minutes. So there are 10 components. So 10 into 10 minutes into 10 components will give you 100 minutes. So now your time is for in 1 hour there are 60 minutes. So your 1 hour is 60 is equal to 60 minutes. So 100 minutes, in this 100 minutes 60 will be for 1 hour 60 minutes and the remaining will be 40 minutes. So 60 minutes is nothing but 1 hour and 40 minutes. This is how you divide. So here 10 minutes into 10 components will give you the number of minutes where you'll be getting 100 minutes. In this 100 minutes, 60 minutes is considered as 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So 100 minus 60 will give you 40. So 60 minutes, or it can also be called as 1 hour. So it is 1 hour and 40 minutes is the time taken to produce 10 components. Why we are converting into hour here is because the rate which is given for labor as well as overhead is based on hours. So after this, we have found out the number of hours and minutes. 1 hour, 40 minutes. As machine operator gets based on 0.72 paise per hour, we will be calculating for 1 hour he gets 0.72. Then for 40 minutes, how much will he get? So 60 minutes he will get 0.72 paise. Then for 40 minutes how much is it? It's a question mark. So cross multiply 40 into 0.72 divided by 60, which will give you 0.48. So for 1 hour, how much is it? 0.72. So the time taken to produce 10 components is 1 hour 40 minutes. So for 1 hour, the rate is known. 1 hour into 0.72 will give you 0.72. Then for 40 minutes, what is the rate as per the calculation? 0.48. So 0.72, which is for 1 hour rate, plus 0.48 will give you 1.2, which is taken in your cost sheet, which is 1.20. That is for your 10 components. Now next is for your 100 components. For your 100 components, for now the time to be calculated. How many components? 100 components. How many minutes? 10 minutes. So 100 into 10 will give you 1000 minutes. So how will you find the minutes here is hours and minutes is 1000 divided by 60, that is 1000 minutes divided by 60 minutes. So 1 hour is equal to how many minutes? 60 minutes. So 1000 divided by 60 minutes will give you 16.666. So you will be taking 6 as 16 hours here. So 16 hours. Then how will you find out the remaining minutes? In 1000, a certain percentage will be 16 hours. The remaining is how many minutes? So how will you find out is 16 into 60 will give you 960 minutes. So out of 1000, 960 minutes is 16 hours. So the remaining is how much? 1000 minus 960, you will be getting 40 minutes. So the total number or the time taken is 16 hours 40 minutes. So 16 hour 40 minutes is the time taken for producing 100 components. So now here for 1 hour the rate is how much wage machine operator charges? 0.72. How many hours is here? 16 hours. 16 into 0.72 will give you 11.52. And you have already calculated for 40 minutes how much is it. Here is the 40 minutes calculation, cross multiplication. So the value will be same. So for 40 minutes it is 0.48. So as you have calculated for 16 hours, for 40 minutes it is 0.48. So you will add 11.52 plus 0.48 will give you 12.00. Now for 1000 components, as it takes 10 minutes to produce one component, for 1000 component it is 1000 into 10, which will give you 10,000 minutes. So you will find out how many hours are there in 10,000 minutes, and the remaining minutes will be considered for calculation. So how to find that minute hours is 10,000 divided by 60. So why we are taking 60 is 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So to find out how many hours, we are dividing it by 60 minutes, as it is 10,000 minutes is divided by minutes to find out the number of hours. So 10,000 divided by 60 will give you 166.66. We will consider 166 hours. So now to find out what is the remaining minutes remaining in this 10,000 is how to calculate that is 166 into 60 will give you 9,960 minutes. So now out of the total 10,000 minutes minus 9,960 minutes will give you the balance 40 minutes. So 166 hours and you have balance 40 minutes. So now for 40 minutes, the rate is 0.48 as per this calculation. So 166 hours into, for 1 hour it is how much? 0.72. So 166 into 0.72 will give you 119.52 plus 0.48 from this calculation will give you 120 rupees 120. For 10,000 components it is 120. So all these figures are taken in your cost sheet: 1.2, 12 and 120 for 10,000 components. So based on your cost sheet, it is taken here 1.20, 12 and 120. Next calculation is overhead at rupees 1.5 per machine hour. So now here it is 1 rupee 50 paise per machine hour. So the calculation will be, the figures will be different here, as for here it was 72 paise for 1 hour. So the cross multiplication figures you get one answer. Here as it is 1.5 per machine hour, the amount varies for minutes. So we will look into that calculation. So here overhead calculation of each components. So for 10 components for 1 hour, that is nothing but 60 minutes, it is rupees 1.5, that is 1 rupee 50 paise. Then for 40 minutes, how much is it? So you will cross multiply. So 1 hour 40 minutes is for 10 components. It takes 1 hour 40 minutes. So for 1 hour, that is 60 minutes, it takes 1.5 rupees. For 40 minutes, how much is it? Cross multiply. So 40 into 1.5 divided by 60 will give you 1. So what is the rate for 1 hour? For 1 hour it is 1.5. So 1 into 1.5, as it is 1 hour 40 minutes, 1 into 1.5 will give you 1.5 plus 1 will give you, this 1 is for 40 minutes. It charges 40 minutes. For 40 minutes it charges 1 rupee. So 1.5 plus 1 will give you 2.5. Next, for 100 components. For 100 components, the number of hours it is working is 16 hours 40 minutes. So for 16 hour 40 minutes, 16 hours, you know the rate. For 1 hour it is 1.50. So you will calculate 16 hours into 1.50. Rupees 1.50 will give you 24 rupees. So 24 rupees. For 40 minutes, how much is the rate? 1 rupee. So 24 plus 1 will give you 25. Then for 1000 components, 166 hours and 40 minutes. So how did you get 160 hours is there in your previous overhead calculation. So 160 for 1 hour it is 1.50. So 166 hours into 1.50 will give you 249. This 249 is for 166 hours. It charges 249 rupees. Plus 1 rupee for the 40 minutes. So plus 1 will give you 250. So this is the rates for overhead rates. For 10 components it is 2.5. For 100 components it is 25. For 1000 components it is 250. That is what is considered in your cost sheet. 2.5, 25 and 250. So this is all your overheads. So when you total up 5.18, 0.60, 1.20 and 2.50, you will be getting 9.48. Then for 100 components, when you total these figures, you will be getting 48.18. And for 1000 components, when you total up all your overheads, you will be getting 435.18. So this is your total expenses for producing so many various components. So now we will find out cost per component. So cost per component, the formula is total cost divided by number of components. So what is your total cost for 10 components? 9.48. So 9.48 divided by number of components. How many components? 10 components. So 9.48 divided by 10 will give you 0.94. The same thing is applicable here. Total cost is how much? 48.18. How many components? 100 components. So 48.18 divided by 100 will give you 0.48. Next you have 1000 components. So for 1000 components, the total cost is how much? 435.18. So 435.18 divided by 1000 will give you 0.44. So this is your cost per component. So what is a note we try to conclude in this problem is, as batch size increases, that is from 10, 100 and 1000, as a batch size increases, cost per component decreases. This is because setting up cost is fixed for all batches. Yes, so you can see as the batch size is increasing, the cost is also decreasing because of the setting up cost. With the setting up cost, as it is fixed, it will not bring any variation in the cost irrespective of the increase in the batches. So when it is 10, it was 0.94. When it is 100, it is 0.48, and when it is 1000, 0.44. So it is as the batch size increases, cost per component increases, cost per component decreases. Yes, the total cost divided by, if you look into the cost is less, but the cost is less and it increases based on the number of components, but per unit cost is less when compared. So this is the note states, as batch size increases, cost per component decreases. Only the cost per component decreases. This is because of the setting up cost is fixed for all the batch sizes. Thank you everyone.